Hello, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everybody. Thanks for clicking on. It is Eyes Open. If you'd like to help support the show, the Cash App is American Doofus at dollar sign in front of that dollar sign American Doofus for the Cash App, and the email to contact me is American Doofus Americandufus at gmail.com. I'm going to get rid of the. There we go. Again, thanks for clicking on. We are just getting started here for this evening, and I'm going to break down the Kari Lake video that we showed earlier today in a breaking news, about an 8-minute segment we did earlier today. Played the video in its entirety, and going to play it and break it down from a political perspective. Also got a couple of other stories that we're going to touch on, including the governor of Texas basically telling the United States Supreme Court, no, we're not going to listen to you. That's coming up in just a minute. But in the meantime, we're going to get started here with our first story of the night. And again, we're going to break down the conversation between this gentleman right here, former Arizona Republican Party chair, Jeff DeWitt. He resigned today about 4 o'clock this afternoon, after this tape was released by Kari Lake. And right after I did the live and played this video when it first came out, talked with a couple of friends that watched the video, and I told both of them that I believed this was done by Kari Lake. She's the one doing recording, and that has been confirmed. We'll talk about that at the end, but let's get into the video.
Is there a number at which
I can be bought?
not be bought?
That's what it's about.
You can take a pause for a couple.
Okay. Again, the way she talks throughout this whole thing, I knew that she knew she was being recorded. And you can tell that the Arizona party chairman does not know he's being recorded. And she says, he asks if there's a number, and she said that I can be bought. We're going to go through the video, and then we're going to talk about some extenuating circumstances that occurred during this video, allegedly during this recording.
No.
Let me go right back to what you're doing.
Okay, he says, take a pause and run for governor in 2 years is what he's implying. And she says, no. I really believe she knew what she was doing during this taping, and this is to try to solidify a vice presidential run with Donald Trump is what I think this is about. But let's go on.
10 million, 20 million, 30, no. A billion, no.
I don't believe that for a second.
It's not about money. This is about our country.
Again, she knows she's being recorded.
I think it's disturbing that they would that anybody would think this is.
No, to be
Okay. Who is they? We'll find out in just a moment. And he says, now to be fair,
even me, I'll say this. I want a fresh face right now for the reason that I've never seen anyone, I can't think of a single person in a federal race who's lost, ran in and won. I can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I am not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me. So what's going on? I'm assuming this is our friend.
The friend being Donald Trump.
This is back east.
Okay, they're in Arizona. This is not. He says, no. This is back east. Back east meaning the Republican National Committee in Washington D.C. clicked the wrong spot. My bad. Okay, here we go.
Who've lost ran in one. Can't think of it. If you can think of it, let me know.
I'm not going to let these people who hate our country tell me not to run. You should call them and tell them to get behind me. So what's going on? What is? I'm assuming this is our friend.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
Okay, so every party in every state has a chairperson. The Republican Party chair in Indiana, the Democratic Party chair in Indiana. This is the Republican Party chair in Arizona, and he is the messenger. All right. He has been contacted and been told, look, we do not want Kari Lake associated with the national ticket in any way, shape, or form. And that is his message to her. Look, hey, you got a chance to wait 2 years and run for governor of Arizona again. Don't try to get in the national spotlight. And what would it cost? She says, knowing that she's recording this and knowing that no one's ever going to pay her $20 million, let alone $1 billion not to run. There are much cheaper ways to make sure she would not be successful. So that's her grandizing what is going on.
No, they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So, this conversation never happened.
This is crazy, though. They should want me.
Why? You've already lost the governorship of Arizona 2 years ago. This is about Kari Lake, much like in what, in my opinion, Donald Trump does is all about Donald Trump. And this is under the pretense that it's good for the people. They're doing it for the people. And look, I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat. I don't care. There are no good guys. All right. When you get up to where they're at, there are no good guys. There are only people that are bought and paid for, and generally never in the public's best interest. And once we collectively start getting that idea soaking through our heads, possibly we can move forward, because these are mid-level players. These aren't the people that are actually doing all the controlling, in my opinion. But that's for another episode.
I'm a great candidate. People love me.
No, you lost. And the MAGA people love you because they've been told to love you. And we found out last night in New Hampshire, what a small percentage that actually will be when it comes to a general election. And the Republican Party knows that, as you will hear coming up.
These people are corrupt.
Well, maybe you're right.
They are right. They are corrupt.
Maybe. This never happened. Don't go. Do you ever though? I'll get myself in trouble. If you say no, which is fine, it's your choice. Don't tell people.
They're gonna try to have me murdered.
I wouldn't doubt that either.
And she chuckles about that. That is not at all out of the realm of possibility. Silencing people in ways, both parties might have some things on their hands when it comes to that. I'll just leave it at that for now, because as I said moments ago, that is for another episode. This is about examining this video and also talking about the border in Texas.
Today's world, man. If that stuff that came out last week is right about the cartel stuff, man. They say the cartel's operating in 50 states right now, like all 50. You know? So.
Okay, in his vocal tone, he gets real excited. He gets real amped up. Man, the cartels are like in all 50 states. Don't joke about somebody killing you, because Here's how it would play out. All right. Somebody at the very top makes a decision that somebody else has to be silenced. Um, a lot of money is paid and the person is silenced. And then the person that did the silencing probably will be silenced as well. And you never know who is at the top. Um, John F. Kennedy assassination. The alleged assassin was silenced, and the person that did the silencing was silenced. That's all I'm saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying there's cartels in all 50 states now. Um, this was recorded. Obviously, it was recorded when DeSantis was still in the running. It was actually recorded a few months back, as we will learn soon.
So what's going on? Who is what?
Forget the who. Let me just tell you the what. Let's just say there are people calling around saying, gosh, no, they can't repeat this. Never repeat this. If you say no, don't, because say, I got offered to buy out. Don't use it. Because then we lose our ability to get things done in the future.
Here's my problem. Rather than just say, let's work with her, she's a great candidate, because they don't own me.
Okay. Again, this is a little bit delusional, and if you are delusional and not honest with yourself in politics, you're automatically lost, even if you get in office, because she says she's not bought and paid for. Actually, while she's saying that, she's employed by this guy right over here. That's how her money kept coming in. So she was bought and paid for. Um, and while she'll say they, whoever they happen to be, don't own me, I assume she's referencing the Republican National Committee. Keep this in mind. You hear the Republican National Committee say how much, Trump, 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 Trump. Also, keep in mind the art of war. One of the main focuses in the art of war is keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. Uh, I told you last night, I'll tell you again right now, neither Donald Trump nor Joe Biden will be president of the United States in 2024. Let's finish this.
And it pisses me off.
Yeah, I said I know it's about ownership.
It's about control.
I don't know it's about control. It's about being on the team. I guess that's, you know what I mean?
They want to be on the team.
They want you to be on their team.
But
Just team.
See, she doesn't get it, and it's exposed right there. She doesn't understand that he's trying to tell her that, look, you are not going to be successful, but they're going to pay you some money to just not even try. She doesn't understand that it's all about her. It's like they want to be on my team, and he's like, no, no, no. They do not want you on the team. They do not want you on the team. She can't hear that because her total focus is her.
But if they're pushing a globalist agenda, I can't do that. So what do they want? What do they want me to do?
You want to stay out for 2 years. Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay. Like I would ever consider doing that. I'm Kari Lake. Um, and I've seen it. It's easy for people to get caught up into that, and that's creating your own delusion, um, and that leads to an incredible downfall. And keep in mind one other thing: they will try to stop Donald Trump any way possible. Right now, it's through taking him through the courts. It should have probably been done in the Senate the next day after January 6th, but it was not done. Um, McConnell chose to, as he said in his speech, let the courts actually deal with this, and he kicked it down the road. Well, we're down the road now, and whether you believe in the charges or not, Donald Trump is currently facing 4 federal indictments, 90 plus counts, and yet he's still out campaigning. Which, if I were somebody in J6 that is waiting trial or whatever they're waiting on, and the person that was at the top of it allegedly is out scot free, I would have to question um, where our legal system's at if I were one of those people. But they don't look at that way either. They look at it that they did nothing wrong, and all that is going to do for anybody. If you can't admit when you're wrong, you're not a very big person to begin with. Okay, and if you you're just going to keep digging yourself into deeper and deeper holes until you're honest with yourself, because if you're never honest with yourself, you're never going to be honest with anybody else. Just a little nugget there.
But I can offer you. But I said, you can do whatever you want. It's talking head, this and that.
Talking
So,
head there. So
the ask-
basically he's saying to her, you can go be a talking head. Basically he's saying, we'll put you on Fox News for 2 years, which will only help you when you want to run for governor of Arizona in 2 years. And you can say what you would normally be saying, and you'll make a bunch of money. That's what he's saying.
ask of me was, it's kind of funny. So the ask I got today from back east was, hesitate between us. Is there any companies out there or something that could just put her on the payroll and to keep her out? And I said, well, what do you want them to do? Like, whatever we need to do.
This is about defeating Trump. And I think
No, it's not about defeating Trump. It's about keeping Kari Lake out, because Trump is a big enough anchor on Republicans getting elected. Like it or not, the New Hampshire numbers showed that independents do not like Trump. And independents like me, we decide elections. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it works. And if Trump carries enough states to get elected, it won't be because of it will be because of the absolute asshattery the Democratic Party is currently doing, thinking that, and people aren't. Watch last night's episode.
that's a bad thing for our country. DeSantis is not America first. This is about the final death blow to Trump. And I don't think that's good for our country.
And I love Trump. I love Trump.
It's not good for our country, Jeff.
It's not, but at the same time, I'm not even sure Trump can win again.
Okay, there it is. The Republican establishment, he comes out and tells her, I'm not even sure Trump can win again. And this is in Arizona, which generally has been a pretty solid state for Trump. They see the writing on the wall.
I don't know that he can win.
I don't know he can win. And I'm telling you, he can't. And they know that too. And he will not be the nominee. And if he is the nominee, he will not be elected. And if we are not at war with each other before then, the day after the MAGA crowd finds out Trump is not going to be president again, we will be at war on that day.
I think
we may not make it until then.
where it really comes
We may not make it until then, and I'll show you why coming up still in this episode.
down to for a lot of people, it's not really about like control or agenda. It's just about the ability to raise money to win. You know, if you really want to know, all of politics boils down to money. I think. I always believe that. And even on their end, like what makes them the most money?
I know all these consultants don't want their payday to end, and I don't want to make a deal with these kind of people. This is a hill worth dying on. I'm not. If they're going to steal the election to make me and our movement go away.
Again, saying the last election was stolen.
I'm not letting him do that. I owe it to the people of Arizona
Or
to carry their torch and their voice.
She knows she's being recorded, and again, she's painting herself to be something. She's putting herself on a pedestal, and the higher pedestal you put yourself on, believe me, the larger fall you have.
or you don't go away, but you pause.
This is the battles right now, Jeff.
You pause and refill your coffers.
No, the battle is right now. The battle is right now, and we don't have time to pause on this battlefield.
You're not. You can't scratch their back. It's not afraid of you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer them.
You don't have anything to offer them. She should hear that and realize when somebody tells you you don't have anything to offer them, instead of going all white privilege and saying, "I'm Kari Lake. I know exactly what I have, and I shall force you to see what," that's not how it works. It's how it worked for Trump, but you're not Trump.
Sitting around people that have stuff to offer them. You know what I mean? It's just it's a back scratching club. That's all DC is. It's a big back scratching club. You're in no position to scratch.
It's not really a back scratching club. Literally, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. It is a back scratching club in that you'll do what you're told if you ever want to hope to advance.
Back, and you've already made it known that if you get there, you're not going to scratch anybody's back. I don't scratch people's back. You know, I've been.
That's a bunch of shit. This guy scratches everybody's back.
On the outs for a lot of people for a long time because I don't scratch backs. You know? Where are we in 2 years if they steal the election again?
Listen to what you're saying. Why don't we do something about it so that we, the people, can pick our...
What can we do?
I'm not willing to accept that. And I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's...
Okay, again, when somebody tells you something like this, she's telling the Republican National Committee, I'm going to be the biggest pain in these people's asses, and go back and tell them that. Okay, he just resigned today. This happened months ago. He went back and told them that. Now, in order to survive in politics, it's not a scratch your back, you scratch. It's you go along to get along. And what she is telling them, they've killed the messenger, basically. So far, this is the guy that suffers. But don't be surprised. I'm serious. Don't be surprised if something mysterious happens to Kari Lake, and it'll be done in such a way that we forget all about it because there's something even bigger that we have to focus on. That's how it works. That's what we try to show you on here on Eyes Open.
Go back and tell them that. I'm running, and I'm going to be the biggest pain in their...
I mean, I'm willing to tell them that.
And they're going to have to kill me to stop me.
I know. Look.
And you notice he says, I know. He never says either one of the times. She brings it up twice. Twice she says, they will have to kill me. And he says, I know. He doesn't say, oh, no, that's ridiculous. No one's going to be killing anybody. He says, I know. I'm telling you, this is not the end of this by far. We know that. I know that anyway, because a few hours ago, this came out. Um, and this is the statement from Chairman Jeff DeWitt. Let me see if I can. I know a lot of people, and I apologize for not thinking about the people that watch on the phones all the time and you can't see anything. Um, Here we go. I'm not going to read the entire statement, but I'm going to read a little bit of it. In light of the recent revelation that Kari Lake had released a selectively edited audio recording of our private conversations, I must clearly address this deceptive tactic. The recording from over 10 months ago is not only taken out of context, but also undermines the integrity of private discussions critical for party leadership. Otherwise, it's pulling back the veil and showing us how this happens. As chairman, my primary duty is to strengthen our party, which often involves challenging dialogues and strategic decisions. These conversations are meant to assess and enhance the viability of our candidates. She's not a viable candidate, is what he was trying to tell her. The truth is, when I took the helm, our party was in disarray. Okay. Um, Lake has a massive megaphone. Let's go down to here. Lake has a massive I'm sorry, can I not do that? No, I can't. All right. Lake has a massive megaphone that I cannot compete with. I am just a business and financial guy that got recruited into this unpaid role that demands the amount of time of roughly 2 full-time jobs. Wham, wham, wham. Um, and I wanted to contribute positively with the primary focus being the betterment of Arizona and our nation. Um, while there's much more I could express, I must refrain from defending myself. Hold on, let me. There we go. Now I got it too freaking small. This thing's too sensitive. Um, I must refrain from defending myself as it would potentially undermine objective. Since our conversation when I advised Lake to postpone her campaign and aim for the governor's position, she has been on a mission to destroy me. It was a suggestion made in good faith, believing it could benefit both her future prospects and the party's overall integrity. The release of the conversation confirms a disturbing tendency to exploit private interactions for personal gain and increase concerns about her habit of secretly recording personal and private conversations. All right. She's trying to be Donald Trump's vice president. Now he sees that, oh, she can't she can't be trusted any more than he can be trusted. And one thing that he demands is loyalty. He doesn't necessarily always give it, or seldom does he give it, but he demands it from anyone close to him, as well as demanding it from his followers. Um, so let's go back to page 2 of this letter and to the end of it. Again, this is the words of the male voice you heard in the tape previously. Um, our party's focus should be unity, integrity, and the selection of candidates who can truly lead and represent our values. We are weakened by internal strife, underhanded tactics, and the erosion of faith. As someone who has dedicated countless unpaid hours to this cause, I hope every future party chairman is as committed to steering our party towards a future that embodies our core principles. In closing, my actions will always reflect what's best for Arizona Republicans, our commendable elected officials, and our mission to reclaim the White House. This is all such a distraction to the mission that I am doing as Miss Lake wishes, and I'm stepping down as chairman of the. So she basically blackmailed him and demanded that he step down as Arizona Republican Party chair, or she was going to release even more recordings, even more damaging recordings. And he, in this letter, said decided not to take the risk and resigning as Lake requested. Um, so again, we broke this today. This broke today, and we've just analyzed it, and now we have a little even better understanding of what Kari Lake is actually doing, and it is a real blatant attempt to promote Kari Lake that she's liable to find out does the exact opposite of what she was hoping to do. We'll see. Time will tell. Now, for those that are unaware, the Supreme Court of the United States issued a ruling. Um, the Department of Justice had said that putting razor wire in the middle of the Rio Grande River on floating on floats that potentially killed people trying to illegally cross the border, that Texas doing that was unconstitutional, and that the federal government has control of the border, and what the federal officials decide is what will happen. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, who's in a wheelchair, by the way, for those that don't know, an interesting fact about Greg Abbott. Not that he's in a wheelchair. That you know, unfortunate. He was in an unfortunate accident actually, and he got paid $8.9 million for being handicapped for life. And shortly after, ran for and won the governorship of Texas. One of the first things he did as governor was sign an order, executive order, that limited settlements for people that were injured to only $250,000 from that point forward. He got his, and he made sure nobody else would benefit the same way that he had from such an unfortunate accident. Um, it's a pattern, all right? It's a pattern. This is Greg Abbott's letter to the federal government today, January 24th, 2024. Federal government has broken the compact between the United States and the states. The executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to enforce federal law protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. President Biden has refused to enforce those laws and has even violated them. The result is that he has smashed records for illegal immigration. Despite having been put on notice in a series of letters, one of which I delivered to him by hand, President Biden has ignored Texas's demand that he perform his constitutional duties. Now, he goes on to say what those duties that Biden is avoiding. President Biden has violated his oath to faithfully execute immigration laws enacted by Congress. Instead of prosecuting immigrants for federal crime of illegal entry, President Biden has sent his lawyers into federal courts to sue Texas for taking action to secure the border. President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. The effect is to illegally allow their en masse parole into the United States. By wasting taxpayer dollars to tear open Texas's border security infrastructure, President Biden has enticed illegal immigrants away from the 28 legal entry points along the state's southern border bridges where nobody's nobody drowns, and into the dangerous waters of the Rio Grande. Under President Biden's lawless precedented harm to the people all across the United States. And other visionaries who foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy of a lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. Excuse me for just a second here. Somebody obviously is trying to get my attention. Okay. Um, Evidently, I froze for a moment and I'm back on. We'll see how long this goes. Again, um, some people don't like the truth being told and letting people see for themselves what's actually out here and make their own decisions. But we're going to keep pressing on with it. The visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy. Okay, I've already read that. Um, that is why the framers included both um, Article 4, Section 4, which promises that the federal government shall protect each state against invasion, and Article 1, Section 10, which acknowledges the state's sovereign interest in protecting their borders. Um, he finishes with the failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 1, which reserves to the state the right of self-defense. Here's the you've heard of burying the lead. Here is the impactful comments. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do it here on this one. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion. So the governor of Texas has declared that Texas is under invasion based on Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3. And he has invoked Texas's constitutional authority to defend itself and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. The Texas National Guard, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and other Texas personnel are acting on this authority, as well as state law, to secure the Texas border. So, Greg Abbott has declared that Texas is being invaded, and that because they're being invaded, they have the right to protect themselves. The Texas border is the responsibility of Texas, not the federal government going against the Supreme Court. This may seem like, a lot to do about nothing. It's really not. This is the potential start of a civil war. And you'll go with, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But this isn't going away either. And we could look back and say it started when Abbott said screw you to the federal government and put the Texas National Guard on the border. Now, the governor of Oklahoma has already said Oklahoma's with Texas. Will we see other states showing their support? I imagine we will. It is it is an issue that will probably determine our election in 2024. And you need to look hard at who is stopping border security. Is it Joe Biden? This letter makes it sound like it. Is it the Republicans in Congress? Well, we've shown on here how they voted against funding for border security because they want that to be the issue. It's the only issue they've got, really, because of abortion is gone as an issue to them. It's not gone in the minds of a lot of voters, especially independent voters who decide elections. And I'm going to leave it at that. Hop over and say hi to the chat real quick here and see if I can get done in under 45 minutes. And I can see the chat tonight. I couldn't last night. Hello to the Pink Flamingo. Hello, not going away. Black Eyed Peas. Star Fox. Hello to you. It's been a minute. Lori, I talk to Lori a few times a week. Lori's good. Lori's fine. Lori's in Texas. Yes. And um, all good. And I may be on Lori's channel here before too long. We've talked about me coming on there and doing an episode. Uh, she'll pop up on this channel on occasion, but at the moment, yeah, she's down in Texas and doing fine. Um, D says the federal government does not have control over the border. Well, D, according to the U.S. Supreme Court, yes, the federal government does have control over the border. I understand your sentiment. I understand, especially if I lived in Texas, seeing what is happening down there on a regular basis. You know, I'm I totally understand. This is not about me telling you what's right or what's wrong. It's me just telling you about what's going on, and I understand that. But Supreme Court says no. The federal government has control. Texas has now said after that we have control. This is a potential flashpoint, a constitutional conflict, if you will, and could this be the point where um, the 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 state of Texas is big enough that it could just say, "All right, enough." Now, this has happened before uh, in Arizona, actually, I believe, back in the 1930s, I think. Um, and I should have looked this up, but it didn't pop into my head until just now that, hey, this has happened before. It happened before in the 1930s, and the governor said, no, we're not following the federal rules. The president at that time nationalized the Arizona National Guard so that they were under federal control and not under state control. Um, that could potentially, I'm sure Biden's advisors are telling him the precedent has been set to do this, which could lead to Biden saying, you don't have a National Guard, they are all federal troops, which could lead to Texas guardsmen saying, no, we're not, we're Texans, we're not federal troops. Much like in the Civil War over slavery, um, the best and the brightest generals were loyal to their states, not to the country as a whole. Um, we are on a precipice here that will not get talked about enough because there are so many other things going on, and people, and believe me, they really don't want us thinking about what could come because that will change our behaviors. We'll start stocking up on things. We'll quit buying things that are unnecessary, um, which we all should have done a long time ago. But um, they don't want to hear that. They don't want us thinking about that. They don't want us thinking about anything other than you know, um, Honey Boo Boo and Duck Dynasty, um, which I don't think about either one of those until I'm rapidly searching my brain for some sort of references. Um, but it's a harrowing time. As someone that has been okay, someone that has um, taught government and economics, studied government, and has been involved with the federal government as well as a former congressional candidate. We are in a perilous time that, if not handled correctly, Texas has a whole bunch of oil. Texas has a whole bunch of land. Texas has a whole bunch of food. Texas is important to our country. And we too often forget about how reliant we are really in this nation on each other, especially when the global crap starts coming down on us, which it is about to as well. There are a lot of people in the world that want to see this great experiment of democracy fail. And we, as its citizens, should be trying to prevent that. Instead, there are a lot of us that are provoking it. And we need to keep talking about it because this is not about right or left. This is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about America, what America is right now and what America can be. Hello to Nancy McMonarch. Butterflies are free. Hi. Um, hello, Cunning. The Cunning stunt is in here, or at least was. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have used Honey Boo Boo, but the first thing that came to mind is Oak Island, and I really like Oak Island, so I couldn't use that because I myself, that's one of my guilty pleasures. Um, Immigration has changed. Why revise and create new laws when they refuse to enforce current laws? Immigration has changed, and you're also right, D. Why, why have legal immigration laws if illegal immigration laws are not going to be enforced? It's that in and of itself is a legitimate question of logic, if nothing else. Um, what's the new show from Honey Boo Boo? I can't remember what it's called. Okay, so there is a new Honey Boo Boo show. All right. Well, we're going to keep this under an hour, which generally means more people will watch, and I hope they do, and I hope you help that along if you will by hitting the like button, sharing the content if you so desire, and leave a comment below if you're not in the live chat and you're watching this at your convenience. Leave a comment. Thank you to all of you that comment, um, that do like, that do share, that email, that um, sometimes it gets pretty frustrating talking about all this and knowing that um, most people don't have the critical thinking to fully understand everything, but yet it's hopeful that I know that the few of you out there do have the critical understanding and do understand the significance of what we talk about and do see that uh, it's important. And I appreciate that. I really do. I thank each and every one of you for being here. We're going to do it again Friday night. We're going to talk about the popo again. 5-0, the cops. We're going to talk about the Metropolitan Police Department of Washington, D.C., possibly some other metropolitan police departments, and policing in general. Um, I'm going to try to take tomorrow night off. I was planning on taking today off totally, but when something like what happened with that Kari Lake tape happened, um, especially if you have an understanding of politics, the significance of that. And we saw it in that within a couple of hours of that being dropped, um, the Arizona Republican Party chairman, who's not getting paid um, by the party, but they're taken care of. Come on. Um, he resigned. He was forced to resign. Kari Lake demanded his resignation, or she was going to play even worse things. And is that what we want our leaders to be? Blackmailers, extortionists, um, strong arm people into um, into doing their bidding, as she herself was attempting. They were attempting to strong arm her into doing her bidding or their bidding, and her doing their bidding. Um, it's a messed up, jumbled up, shook up world, except for Lola. LOLA Lola. Thank you again. We will be back Friday night, 9 p.m. Chris joins, and we'll have an open panel that if you would like to come up and ask either one of us a question about anything at all, but primarily about, our topics, we'll be doing that on Friday. So I hope you will join us. And until then, when I say it's a dark world, it is a dark world. We've been talking domestic here. We haven't talked about what's going on in the rest of the world, and there's a lot of things happening, and not much of it is good. It's a dark world. Do try to be a light. I do love y'all like chocolate chip cookies. I thank each and every one of you being here, especially those of you in chat. Um, Thanks, Stunning One. Thank you, D. Always be kind. Ma. Um, Nancy McMonarch. Okay, we'll see you all Friday. I love you. Take care. It's a dark world. Be a light. This has been Eyes Open. We give you things to think about. Don't tell you what to think or how to think. Just think. Love y'all.